In this video, I will show you how to dual boot macOS and Fedora Asahi Remix on your Apple Silicon in 2025. This step-by-step guide will help you run Asahi Linux natively on ARM-based Macs. Now keep in mind that this guide is only for Apple Silicon Macs. If your Mac is powered by Intel, check out the video link in the description for relevant instructions. Now with that said, let's get started. Fedora Asahi Remix is an excellent Linux operating system optimized for M1 or M2 Macs. It provides a fully functional and optimized desktop Linux experience for Apple Silicon Macs. It's based on Fedora 41. Asahi Remix supports M1 and M2 MacBooks, Mac Mini, Mac Studio, and iMac. In this video, I will guide you through the step-by-step installation process. Make sure to watch the entire video to the end. For this demonstration, I will be using my base model M1 MacBook Air. The process is the same for any compatible Apple Silicon Mac. Before proceeding, visit Fedora Asahi Linux for additional information. To dual boot Fedora Asahi on M1 or M2 Mac, reserve at least 30 GB of free space or higher and ensure your Mac is running on macOS 13.5 or higher. Then open Terminal and take a note of your macOS username. Now mine is M1 Mac. Now run the command to view the draft information and take a screenshot of the internal disk layout for future reference. Next, open a web browser and visit the official Fedora Asahi Remix website. At the time of recording this video, only M1 and M2 Macs are supported. However, support for M3 and M4 Macs is expected in the coming months. Now let's proceed to install Asahi alongside macOS. Copy this command from the Asahi website and paste it into the terminal. Ensure your Mac is connected to fast internet connection to download Fedora Asahi Linux. Once the installer starts, it will prompt you to enter the sudo password. Then type R to resize the macOS partition. You can shrink the free space by specifying a percentage of free space. For example, if your Mac has 120 GB of free space, you can allocate 70% to macOS and 30% to Asahi Linux. Alternatively, type MIN to let the installer will automatically allocate the required space for Asahi. Now, as you can see, the installer has allocated 74 GB of free space. Type Y and press Enter to continue. As you can see, this is the allocated free space. Then type F to install Fedora Asahi into the free space. Now the installer will prompt you to choose the desktop environment. If you are installing it on a MacBook, choose GNOME. For iMac, choose KDE Plasma. You can also install minimal and server editions. Now I will select option 2 to install the full GNOME version. You confirm the free space by typing max. Name the Fedora Asahi partition and press Enter to begin the installation. This process will take approximately 15 to 30 minutes. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the break while the installation completes. And that's it, we are done with the first step. You can find more instructions for step number 2 to complete the installation of Fedora Asahi Linux. Now read these instructions and follow them carefully. I recommend taking a screenshot. Now press the Enter key to shut down your Mac. Now wait for at least 30 seconds. Then press and hold the power button until you see a message loading startup options. Now this will take you to the One True Boot, which shows all the bootable volumes that have an operating system. From here, you can boot into macOS, Fedora, and Recovery. Now using the arrow keys or mouse cursor or trackpad, select Fedora Linux and press the Enter key. Now go ahead, select the username and enter the password you used to log in into macOS. Now press Enter to continue. Type Y to put the system into permissive mode. Now authorize the installer by typing the username and password of the macOS administrator to change the boot policies. And voila, now you can see the installation is complete. If your Mac gets stuck in a boot loop or reboots during the installation process, force shutdown and enter recovery mode using the One True Boot menu. Then open Terminal and run the script to remove outdated boot policies. Then boot back your system into macOS. Rerun Asahi script and repeat step number 2. Once complete, press the Enter key to reboot. Now your Mac will boot into Fedora Asahi running on bare metal hardware. After booting into Fedora Asahi Remix, follow the on-screen instructions to set up your user account. Now speaking of performance, Fedora Asahi with GNOME Desktop on Apple Silicon is outstanding. The experience is seamless and highly optimized. For a detailed review, check out my video in the description. Now to switch between macOS and Fedora Asahi Remix, First, shut down your Mac. Once the screen goes black, press and hold the power button until you see a message loading startup options. Just remember, when the Mac is turned off, holding the power button for 10 seconds will take you to the boot menu where you can see both macOS and Fedora Asahi boot entries. You can choose Macintosh HD to boot into macOS. This is a perfect dual boot setup on Apple Silicon Macs with Fedora Asahi Remix and macOS. Now, when you're inside macOS, open the startup disk and change the boot order. You can choose macOS to boot automatically whenever you reboot the system from any OS. And that's pretty much it. This is how you properly install Fedora Asahi Remix on M1 or M2 Mac natively. Now check the description for more information. Thank you so much for watching. This has been KSK Royal. I will see you in the next one.